where history is actually made. A couple weeks ago, our Copper State road schoolers took a field trip to the Arizona State Capitol, where what started as a simple tour quickly turned into a 4-hour deep dive into Arizona history, government, and how the state actually works today. From the story of Arizona becoming the 48th state, to sitting in the original 1912 Senate and replicated desks, to stepping inside the state treasurer's trading room where billions of dollars in state investments are managed. This was one of those field trips where real life becomes the classroom. We started the morning inside the Arizona Capitol Museum, which was hosting special exhibits for Statehood Week. Arizona became a state on February 14, 1912, making us the 48th state admitted to the Union. Before that, Arizona spent nearly 50 years as a U.S. territory, and the museum does an incredible job walking visitors through that journey. The kids got to see all kinds of historical artifacts from Arizona's early days. One of the highlights was seeing a historic American flag connected to Theodore Roosevelt and the Rough Riders back when Arizona was still part of the frontier territory of the United States. And you can actually see the flag that is displayed in one of the most iconic photos of Teddy Roosevelt back before Arizona was a state, and they're there side by side, and my kids' minds were just absolutely blown at the fact that that is the real flag from the photo that is in almost every textbook about Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. So standing there looking at those artifacts really helps bring history to life. This wasn't just a story in a book like so many kids see it. This was actual history of the place where we live. Now, from where we stepped into one of the most fascinating rooms in the building, the original Arizona Senate chamber. This room has been preserved almost exactly as it looked in 1912 when Arizona became a state. The desks, the seating, the layout, it's all there. And the kids didn't just look at it. They actually got to sit in the desks where the first Arizona senators once sat. What's even more interesting is we could see which senator sat in which seat during Arizona's very first legislative sessions. It's one thing to talk about government in a lesson. It's another thing entirely to sit where people who shaped Arizona's early laws once worked, see who they were, what they did for a living, and even the type of chair they brought from home to sit on. After exploring the museum, our group headed over to the Arizona State Treasurer's office, and this is where the field trip got really unique. Instead of just talking about government in theory, the kids got to see what a real working state office actually looks like. We stepped inside the Treasurer's trading room, which is where the state manages and monitors Arizona's financial investments. This is where professionals are constantly tracking markets, managing billions of dollars in state funds to make sure taxpayer money is invested responsibly. It gave the kids a real look at something most people never think about, the fact that every state has to actively manage its finances just like the business world. So after a quick break, we headed over to the modern Arizona Senate building. We went up to the second floor where the Senate offices are located, and our group was welcomed in for a tour of the Senate President's office. While we were there, the kids got to hear about what a day in the life of an Arizona senator actually looks like. And then one of the coolest moments of the day for the kids was from the Senate President's office. We were able to walk through a hidden door that leads directly onto the Arizona Senate floor. The kids got to see where senators actually sit during legislative sessions. They saw the desks, the voting buttons used to cast votes, and even the microphones used when senators stand up to debate legislation. Because anyone who follows politics knows senators do tend to enjoy hearing themselves talk. Before wrapping up the day, we made one final stop in one of the committee hearing rooms. This is where most legislation is actually debated long before it ever reaches the Senate floor. It's also where members of the public can come testify in favor of or against proposed bills. So what made this field trip a little extra special for our group is that most of the tour after the museum was led by my husband, Dean Martin, who previously served as Arizona's state treasurer and a 3-term state senator for the North Valley. So the kids weren't just hearing about how the system works, they were hearing from someone who actually worked inside it. And that made the entire experience even more real. If you enjoyed coming along on this adventure with the Copper State Road Schoolers, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out our blog for lesson plans and upcoming field trips and resources.